I, Ajay Katke.
And I, Madhumita Lone, welcome you all for a very special and unique kind of program, Know Your Teacher. The creative mind behind this initiative is our Honorable Dean Dr. Sunilnatha Maske sir, and the baton is taken forward into existence by our social cell. Yataha akena chakrena na rathasya gatir bhavit evam parushkarena vina daivam na siddhyati. Just like a chariot cannot move without one wheel, we cannot attain our destiny without hard work or effort.
Truly said, as the shloka quotes, work is virtue of the mighty, and there is no greater worship for a doctor than saving lives and treating the ill. Keeping up the spirit of hard work and efforts, let us welcome today a wonder woman, a brilliant physician, a magnificent teacher, and a sensational personality, Dr. MARCIA WARAN. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Dr. Marcia Warren is a physician with more than 32 years of experience in internal medicine and more than 10 years of teaching experience involving diagnosis, treatment, management, community counseling, home-based care, and bedside teaching of medical students, both graduate and postgraduate. Ma'am started her journey in May 1987 when she was assistant professor at Christian Medical College, Vellore, till February 1988. After that, from May 1988 to January 1991, Ma'am was a resident physician in Department of Medicine at N.M. Wadia Hospital, Shukravarpet, Pune. She was a resident physician in Department of Medicine at the Salvation Army Evangeline Booth Hospital, Ahmednagar, from Jan 1991 to Jan 2005. Since Jan 2005, Ma'am has been a part of our institute. She was an assistant professor in Department of Medicine till October 2009. Till July 2017, Ma'am was associate professor in the Department of Medicine at D.V.V.P.F Medical College, Ahmednagar. Since July 2017 till date, Ma'am is a professor in Department of Medicine, D.V.V.P.F Medical College, Ahmednagar. Please welcome Ma'am with a huge round of applause once again. Medical profession is one of the most responsible professions. When did you decide to choose this path? And what inspired you at that time to become a doctor? Was it the passion, or was it always your goal, or any incident that ignited the fire?
My grandfather, my mother, me and my eldest son are all doctors, 4 generations. My father was a veterinary surgeon in the Indian Army. So with the background of medicine, I was also motivated.
So, ma'am, you have completed your degree from one of the most prestigious colleges of India. It is a dream for many and lived by few. Please share with us your precious experiences during your college life.
So I joined in 1975 for my undergrad, and then after my undergraduation I worked in a mission hospital for 2 years. We had to do a service obligation bond, which I did in Vadala, Bahiroba 1 year, and Y for 1 year. And then I went back for my MD General Medicine from 1984 to 1987. Then I worked at the N.M. Wadia Hospital for 3 years and came to Ahmednagar. My husband was keen that I work in a mission hospital since I had studied in a college that was where the motto is not to be ministered unto but to minister. So then I joined the Evangeline Booth Hospital as the resident physician, and I was quite worried about how I would cope, but because of my training, which is so important for all of you, I was able to handle most of the emergencies, and for the first 5 years I was the only physician, and then as the work increased, for the next 9 years, Dr. Harmeet Kapoor and I worked together. That
Sure. Ma'am, can you tell us something about this photo, when it was taken and the memory associated with it?
So this is at a conference in CMC when I was asked to speak, and the person sitting next to me is Dr. Ahilyanagar. He worked at a mission hospital in Gadak, Andhra Pradesh, where he was also did good work. So this was at a conference in CMC that I spoke at.
Ma'am, you are an inspirational personality yourself for many of your students. Who do you remember as the most influential mentor during your mental college days?
So that would necessarily be my teachers. For many of them, the names would be strange to you. But in medicine, Dr. Lily John and Dr. Alka Ganesh. In pediatrics was Sheila Pereira. So MS Seshadri, endocrinology, and many other teachers, Dr. Maman Chandi in HIMAT, were some of those who really influenced us. And somehow we had no hierarchy. We could call Maman Chandi Maman. So there was a very good camaraderie between the professors and us. But yes, we got rapped on our knuckles if we did something wrong. For example, in casualty, we used to do intrathecally methotrexate and chemos. And so he taught us that it is the blossom of the hand where you start the chemo, never at the, at the elbow, because here there's much more muscle, whereas here there's nothing. And so extravasation doesn't happen. And otherwise you get chemical burns from the drugs right up to the needle still runs down. So, these are some of the things that we learned.
So let's go to the next question, ma'am. Ma'am, there are a lot of days when life seems a bit unsure and we feel like turning back. What was the constant thing that kept you going towards your goal and achieving the milestones while everything else seemed uncertain?
So one would be maybe my parents, and to know that they had put me through the medical college and supported me, and also to my patients. Like recently, a patient came to me and he said to me, "Stay well, because if you're not well, what will happen to us?" So it's like that. So you're motivated by your patients also. Stay well and continue to work. And I think working is so important, because that's what keeps you ticking, your brain, and that you're able to influence younger people to become better doctors.
You're surely an inspirational personality, ma'am, especially for us. Can you tell us something about this photo?
Yeah, so this was at the Evangeline Booth Hospital. I joined in '91, and the HIV epidemic started in '89 in India. And this was training actually for personnel, and we were trained like through Dr. Alka Ganesh. Dr. Alka Deshpande was my guide, and we were sent for training through NACO and CMAI for HIV using WHO tapes. So this was a training session for the staff.
Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. It is said that working with the less privileged is working towards God. What challenges did you face during your social work, and what are your most valuable moments during the same time?
So HIV was definitely a large part of my work, because the epidemic had started at that time, and the challenges we faced in a mission hospital, in the community, and then later in an NGO called Snehalaya. So we did a lot of work when I was in Booth Hospital. I had all my physician duties, casualty, ICU. Then I learned peritoneal dialysis. I learned 2D ECMO because there was no cardiologist coming to Nagar at that time. And so gross things like endocarditis, I was able to pick up, and mitral stenosis, peritoneal diase for postpartum hemorrhage. And I used to go to the community in the evening. So till 6 o'clock was OPD, and then we used to go to the community. And we had a block which was Wakuri, that was the villages around there that were attached to the Booth Hospital. And so we used to do community counseling, home-based care, home visits. Then with the nursing college, we used to do Pathanatya and role plays for the patients. And so my middle son, Dheeraj, in the afternoons I used to sleep because I had night duty in case I got any calls. So once when the phone rang, he said, "Maji mummy ghari nahi hai, maji mummy bahar gayi." Matlab me ghari hai. Don't say that. He said, "You're never at home. You're always out." So that's the thing. So when you work, there is a compromise of home and family also. Yeah. Thanks.
What about this photo?
So as it says, training of the Salvation Army officers on about HIV and care in the hospital and outside. A lot of stigma at that time. So that was one of the pictures.
You also have a picture of your family now.
Yeah.
Can you please tell about it?
So my father, Lieutenant Colonel William Harney Dean, my mother, Dr. Irene Mildred Dean, my eldest brother, Mark Dean, and my younger sister, Beulah, who had first now. And I was the middle one. 3 siblings.
A physician's job is not only hectic but also challenging in many aspects now. What case do you remember as the most thrilling case in your life?
Actually, I live in a part of Ahmednagar which is very close to the military hospital. And when their physician went on TD, that is temporary duty, they used to call me. So I was called in to see a young soldier who recently joined MIRC, Mechanized Infantry. And when I saw him, I thought of meningitis. And so we did a lumbar puncture and he turned out to have meningococcal meningitis. He had a rash, he had a Waterhouse Friderichsen with hypotension, and then they airlifted him actually to Command Hospital. A chopper lifted him to Command Hospital, but he died there. And then we know that meningococcal meningitis is extremely infectious, and he lived in a barrack, and so all of them and all of us had to get treated for prophylaxis. So that is one case I remember very clearly.
The medical field takes a lot of time. How do you manage your family time along with your professional life?
So maybe this was very relevant in my early days. 3 children, my husband was also working but extremely supportive. And so living on a campus like here, where you're close to the hospital, handling calls and night duties, and to be able to run to the ICU in whatever, 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes, that's all the time you have if somebody arrests. So it was a balance, and I think being on campus was what really made it easy to handle everything.
We got some few pictures of you with
Yeah, this is women's hostel, and we were just 25 girls a batch of 60, 35 boys and 25 girls. One was the government candidate out of the 35. So this was in women's hostel.
Is it from your UG days?
Yeah, these were office bearers. It's quite not a well kept photograph, but our warden and all some of the people who were sport secretary and health secretary.
All the students, ma'am is right there.
Yeah,
Third
yeah.
person.
Third on the right.
You look beautiful even then and you look beautiful even now.
Not well kept actually.
About this picture, ma'am. I guess it was taken in Snehalaya at
Yeah.
the opening.
So they started a hospital called Caring Friends. A lot of the funding came from the Freddie Mercury group. We know that he was gay and he died of AIDS. And so they actually paid for the hospital. And so earlier at some time interns from D.V.V.P.F used to go there to help with the OPD and inpatients. And one of our ex-staff faculty from medicine, Dr. Nilesh Parzane, he's a respiratory physician. He still does rounds. He looks after tuberculosis and HIV.
We still go to Snehalaya for the OPD. So,
This picture was taken in our own ward.
Yeah. So this was taken in one of the wards. Actually, he's not HIV, he's paraplegia or quadriplegia, and with his wife and 4 kids. But it's been put into that. Yeah.
so let's move to the next question. There's always a feeling that drives us to complete a task. And what is the most rewarding thing about your profession that you feel to complete the task?
So basically, you want to do all that it takes to get a patient to be well. I mean, you go the whole hog, meaning you'll go all the way and try your best and not give up. And yet, there are times when you know that when the patient has no money, no resources, no relatives, and there's nothing else to offer, then you might have to say, call it a day, give up. But otherwise, the basic thing is not to give up. And we see so many, like I had another patient who had come, and we had a ward in Booth Hospital, which used to get flooded when the rains came. So we went for rounds in so much of water. Okay, and so he was admitted there, and he still comes for a follow-up, and that was some number of 25 years back. So he told me, he said his brother had brought him saying, डॉक्टरांनी सांगितलं 3 दिवसासाठी जगणार. He's going to live only for 3 days. So I said, anyway, if he's going to die in Parne in 3 days, you might as well bring him here. And he survived. And he had COVID, he had mucormycosis, diabetic, but he's still there. So that is what it teaches you, that you can do things and not give up. You can still try. That's the important thing. To get to the diagnosis is very important. Evidence-based medicine, we know, is so important. And you have to talk to your patients. We hear of all the marpeat that happens now. That is lack of communication skills. You talk to them. Talk to them, identify if there's a big crowd, there's a mob, identify the leader. Talk to the leader. And maybe take him aside and get them to know what's wrong with their patient. But if you feel that they want to shift the patient. Shift the patient. Don't hang on to him saying that no, we'll make him well. That doesn't work. You need to know when to just let go. And so this helps you in your own work and in what you see with your patients.
Your dedication for your work is truly commendable, ma'am. Like you said, there was water till here and still you went.
We used to, Dr. Kathuri and I, because it was in a low-lying area. And then they have demolished that ward. It was called Bori ward because it had a Bora cut tree over there. But it used to get flooded, and that was because it was low-lying, and that's how we used to do wrong.
Ma'am, it is said that there is no age to learning, and we have all seen that you have kept the student in you always alive. Recently, you have been awarded with the Maricani Award. Please tell us about that journey. And even after achieving such a huge success in your career, are there any other professional goals that you look forward to?
So, this Mary Kane Award was, I'm the second recipient. She was Mary Thomas from the batch of 1943, almost the second batch when CMC started. And she did MD General Medicine, then went to the US for a fellowship and met her husband Prabhakar Kane. And then they both decided to come back to India. They worked in Bombay, and she worked in the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital, which was a hospital for mill workers. A lot of poverty, occupational lung disease, tuberculosis. And she worked there, and when she retired, settled in Bombay at Prabha Devi. When she died 2 years ago at the age of 95, her daughters, 3 daughters, one is in Nasik, Madhuri Kirloskar, she's a physician married to a urologist. When they were clearing up, they found their mother's gold medals, best outgoing student from CMC, all the accolades that she had got. And then they went to Vellore and said, we would like to start a prize in memory of our mother. She's got 3 daughters. So I spoke to Madhuri Kirloskar. She was in the US at that time, but lives in Nasik. So that was the first part. What was the other part?
What are there any other professional goals that you look forward to, even at this age or after you have achieved so much in your career?
To continue to work and continue to be part of our department as long as I'm here. And I do have a clinic in town where I see patients from Anam Prem is the part of Snehalaya for blind and deaf children. So, and then all their patients who come either here or I don't go to Snehalaya so much now, but I see them all free of cost. And I've got an integrated clinic for medicine and HIV. No signboards. Nobody knows who's what. Cardiac, hypertension, HIV, diabetes, they're all treated on the same platform. So I have a small clinic. When I finish from here, I go to my clinic.
A wonderful initiative.
Yeah.
You are so energetic even at this age that you finish here and you go there. That is really inspirational for all of us. Can you tell us about this picture?
So these are some of the conferences that we've had here. So Brigadier Tyagi, Brigadier Khare, and Brigadier Srivastava, myself from the department, all the rest of it. The Dean, always supportive of all our work.
You were also awarded with the Lokmat Samman Award. So please tell us about that.
So it's by the Lokmat and it's for women in different fields. So if you see, there are many women here, of which I am one of them. So I was from health and they were from other fields. Yeah, this is the Mary Kane Award, which basically says everything about the work that I've done.
So let's move to the next question, ma'am. Teachers' words are the golden arches in building a student career. Please share with us your words of wisdom for our aspiring doctors.
So basically what you must understand is that you are here to learn. Like basically you must know that what have you come here for? You have come here to learn medicine. Medicine being the big word. And that is what you should focus on. I know that there are many more inputs now which we didn't have. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have lecture series online, dams and all that. But if you come for lectures, remember that what the teacher has learned, say, looking at myself, what we have learned is not found in any textbooks. But when you come for a lecture and we find it so pathetic, the attendance, what we can teach you is not in a textbook. That's the first thing. Second thing is heartening to know that clinics, many students come for clinical examination. But seeing patients on your own, going to the wards, doing whatever is part of your curriculum is what will help you become a better doctor or a good doctor. Okay. And things have changed because of NEET. The curriculum has changed. But medicine and clinical medicine, examining the patient, seeing the patient walk in through the OPD, he's got a hemiplegia, you can make the diagnosis straight away. So your examination doesn't start on a bed, but it starts when the patient walks in. And doing a clinical examination, taking a history, an average patient you can see in 9 minutes. There are patients that will take longer, especially in neurology. But putting your step, palpating the abdomen, looking for a spleen, percussing the back. I'll give you an example. I had a young man from VRD, that's a Vehicle Research Development Establishment. He came to me for a cold and a cough. But I always examine any patient I see. So I auscultated him and he had a wide split second heart sound. It was a fixed split second heart sound. So I did an ECG. This was in my clinic. And it showed an incomplete right bundle branch block. So my diagnosis was atrial septal defect. I sent him for a 2D echo and it came back as ASD. And so, because he's in the government network, went to Pune, got it coiled and came back. And then he told me, I've seen so many doctors, but nobody had told me anything. So doing the examination, seeing the patient becomes so important because you pick up things that nobody else will pick up. That is the thing. So to continue to work and for you all to understand that you're here for a purpose and hope that that is what you do, study, learn and do well in life.
These are some of more thanks awards. These are some of your photos with your family.
Yeah. And one of my classmates who's a pediatrician at St. Stephen's Hospital, Delhi. And then my middle son and my youngest son, my husband. So we're waiting for the watch. So,
And this Gautam sir.
yeah, that's Gautam and his wife Leah. She's an ENT surgeon and their child. And that's me with Gautam when I was working in Badia Hospital. This was part of the, so through Salvation Army, actually we went abroad to various programs of theirs. So this was in China and also in Africa, abject poverty and a lot of HIV. So these were photographs from China.
Last but not least, if you had to write or if someone else wrote a book about your ideologies and philosophies, ma'am, what would you like the title to be?
So I would say my motto from my college, not to be ministered unto, but to minister. That would be it.
It's really amazing. We have some of the videos from ma'am's ex-students who would like to share a message for them.
आपल्या सर्वांच्या सहर्ष स्वागत करते की आपण सर्व इथे उपस्थित आहात. थँक्यू सो मच. अपनी धरती है खिलूटा चमन आज के दिन का हम करें सुस्वागतम स्वागतम 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 हम करें सुस्वागतम मिलेगी हमको राहें देखो उनके साथ चलकर मिलेगी हमको मंजिल देखो उनके साथ चलकर स्वागत.
My name is Dr. MARCIA WARAN. I have been associated with Snehalaya since 1991. We arranged a camp for the caretakers in Snehalaya, a health camp for them personally. Working with people who are not well has been their focus, but we have shifted that focus onto themselves. Very important that the caretakers stay well, and the aim of today's workshop, rather clinical evaluation of the health camp, was this: that they need to also realize that they need to stay well, and this is just a way of doing it at the workplace. What I really hope the impact of this camp will be is an awareness of health. Not to fob it off by saying that we are well, but to know that there is a nitty-gritty that needs to be looked at for ourselves on a regular basis, maybe once in 6 months. We also look at it as a beginning of a relationship between the medical college at WARAN and Snehalaya. It's been a relationship that goes back many years, and we would like this to be a bonding where the upcoming hospital we can help with maybe staff and doctors to better and more effectively run the facility, and also to be available at the WARAN Medical College for free health care for those that need it in Snehalaya, for the staff as well as the children. Snehalaya has also over the years helped the medical college to a large extent, and we hope that will continue.
As you said, you've been involved with Snehalaya for 27 years. How has that changed since you first started to the present day?
Oh, it was a tough journey then, but now has evolved into a very organized NGO doing very effective work, and with new aspects and new facets of care which were not there 27 years ago. And discrimination is much less, for we know that there is a HIV positive section and an HIV negative. And now I see much more coming together, less stigmatization, more acceptance. They don't get segregated as they did much earlier. They eat together, they play together, live together. And Himmat is a rehab part of Snehalaya. So I've always felt that, and I've shared this with Girish, that rehab back into society to a large extent should happen.
Snehalaya is not a substitute for rehabilitation as such. We have to look to try and rehabilitate them in their families, but where it doesn't happen, where they're so marginalized, Snehalaya has opened the doors and they're so productive. They work and they live together, and Himat Gram is a very good example of that, where the treatment and care and support is always there.
For the future, what would be the best impact, the best your dream for Snehalaya in, say, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
But we win the MARCIA award. It needs to be recognized. It's not a program that may be duplicated. It's because there's a lot of care that's gone into the inception and the continuation of Snehalaya. But I think we need recognition by the country for the work done. And there are so many more aspects that Snehalaya can see for ourselves. I might look at only the medical part of it, but as a whole, the work being done, I think we're doing a tremendous job. Snehalaya is doing a wonderful job, and keep it up, keep it going. Yeah.
Dr. Warren, thank you for today.
About you. You are among very few teachers who are very sensitive about their students and patients. Your patience and your dedication significantly impacted my journey, and I am forever grateful for your guidance. As well as community service is a wonderful way to give back to society, and you are doing wonderfully well on that part also, like ART services. I am really grateful for that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah. Very well, yeah. So nice.
Department of Medical Gastroenterology, Dr. D.V.V.P.F, Medical College, Pune. I have been a student of Dr. MARCIA WARAN. She had been a great source of inspiration to all of us. Our constant support and wisdom towards students had propelled many of us to achieve successful career in life. Her sympathy and empathy towards patient care had encouraged all of us to work in the field of medicine. Our selfless dedication and tireless efforts towards patient care, regardless of the socioeconomic status, are a testament to her unwavering commitment to social impact. On behalf of all of our students, I would like to extend my best wishes and healthy life to Warren. I would also like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Brigadier Tyagi sir, Brigadier Srivastava sir, and Brigadier Khare sir, and Padma Shri Dr. V.K. Patil, Medical College, Ahilyanagar. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Gautam. I am Dr. MARCIA WARAN's eldest son, and from a very young age I've been privy to all the great medical work that she has done over the years. As you might all know, she recently has been awarded the Dr. Mary Khane Award, which is a highly prestigious award given by CMC level. And on our family WhatsApp group, we've been receiving pictures of Satkar after Satkar, where Dr. MARCIA has been, her work has been recognized by various people that she has worked with and helped over the years. So how to summarize so much of her great influential work in under a minute, I'm unsure of. But from a very young age, I was able to see what kind of a physician she was. She was actually an emissary that was sent out from CMC into the community district benefited from that. All sorts of avenues of work, and her enthusiasm has not dipped one bit. I still think that she is still as hardworking that she used to be, and definitely more hardworking than I am. I feel that she's a generational doctor in the sense that she came to Ahilyanagar in the early 90s when there was absolutely, healthcare was not a significant thing on the map, and she came to Nagar and was one of the original gangster OG physicians at the time. And over the last 3 decades, she's served thousands and thousands of patients, I'm sure, who are all very much, even till now, so grateful to her work. I feel that one of the reasons that she's such a great physician is also because that she's such a great person, in the sense that she's genuine, kind, humble, all the qualities a good doctor must have. So I would just like to thank you for inviting me to share something about my mother, and even now she's still a role model after all these years. So thank you, and hope this is a fun event for all of you.
Dr. Gautam has summarized how great your work is done. Please give ma'am big. We have really enjoyed every bit of this insightful session. Ma'am, we are delighted to have this talk with you. Thank you for being a flame of inspiration for all of us.
Now I request Honorable Dean Dr. Snehalaya Maske sir to please felicitate Dr. MARCIA WARAN.
गुड आफ्टरनून. पहिल्यांदा मी मॅडमचे खरोखर आभार मानतो की मॅडमने वेळ दिला, पण काही अपरिहार्य कारणास्तव आजचा कार्यक्रम बराच पोस्टपोन होत चालला, तर त्याबद्दल मी मॅडमची क्षमा मागतो. पण मला गॅरंटी आहे आपल्या मेडिकल कॉलेज आणि रुग्णालयाचे एक मातृतुल्य व्यक्तिमत्व म्हणून मॅडमकडे बघितलं जातं. मॅडमने आज काय जे सांगितलं, कारण मॅडमला आत्मस्तुती आवडत नाही. मॅडमला खूप वेळेस मला सांगायला, मॅडम तुमची आवड सांगा. मॅडम कधीच सांगत नव्हत्या. हा फक्त त्यांनी टिप ऑफ आईसबर्ग सांगितला. खूप ट्रिमेंडस वर्क आहे मॅडमचं. नगर जिल्ह्यामध्ये डॉक्टर वॉरन म्हटलं की बूथ हॉस्पिटल आणि स्नेहालय हे पहिल्यांदा डोळ्यासमोर प्रत्येकाच्या येतं, कारण मॅडमनी खूप काम केलं. गेली 20 वर्ष मी मॅडम बरोबर आहे, आणि मॅडमचे जे काही डायग्नोसिस असतं, पेशंटच्या बाबतीत कम्युनिकेशन असतं, तुम्ही सेकंड इयरचे आहात त्यामुळे तुम्हाला इतकं कल्पना नाहीये मॅडमच्या कामाची, पण हे खरोखर इन्स्पायरिंग एक व्यक्तिमत्व आपल्या कॉलेजमधलं आहे. आणि माझ्या बाबतीत सांगेल, कारण कुठल्याच ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेटरला कुणीच चांगलं म्हणत नाही, ना वरचे म्हणतात, ना खालचे म्हणतात, ना पॅरलल म्हणतात, कारण ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हा तसाच असतो. पण मॅडम एकमेव आहे ज्यांनी मला एकदा नाही दोनदा सांगितलं होतं यू आर डुईंग व्हेरी वेल. आणि ते सगळ्यात मोठं एक सर्टिफिकेट असतं आपल्या कामाचं. तर प्रत्येकाला वाटतं की आपल्याविषयी कोणतरी चांगलं बोलावं, खरं बोलावं, खोटं बोलावं, गोष्ट वेगळी असते, प्रत्येकाला वाटतं ते. पण मॅडमनी खरोखर अप्रिसिएशन दिलं. मी पर्सनली मॅडमचे खूप खूप आभार मानतो. आणि आज नो युअर टीचर मध्ये एक आपल्याला खऱ्याखुऱ्या टीचरचं मार्गदर्शन मिळालं, हे आपलं नशीब. धन्यवाद.
I would also just like to say that it's a very good program, and thank you so much that and to both of them who have been following me for the last 6 months and finding out all the details, taking the trouble to contact Gautam and Nikhil, and thank you very much, Dean sir, for this program. I think it's a very good program to get to know us.
स्टुडंट मेडिसिनचे मॅडम या.